Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today, we're going to do kind of a simple project, but it turns out super, super elegant. And we're going to use this really cool kind of like Fabergé egg mold that I recently purchased. And what we're going to do first is I'm going to mix up, I'm guesstimating about 8 ounces of Let's Resin's epoxy resin. And I am going to use their large mixer to do this with because it just makes life so much simpler than mixing by hand. And when doing large quantities like this, it's a little easier to use this one as opposed to, say, the ISTOYO handheld one that I have, which is great, and don't get me wrong, but it's better for smaller amounts, I think, than bigger amounts. So we're going to use this, pop the lid on, push the button, let it go, and we're going to do this about 3 or 4 times. And then when I'm done, I just kind of push the button and let it spin off a lot of that resin that's stuck on the paddles instead of waiting for it to drip off. And then put it into a separate cup, turn it on so it can spit out all the rest of the resin that's on there and let that go. As always, I scrape the edge of my cup and around the bottom too, just so that if there's any unmixed resin there, it will get mixed in. I'm going to add a little bit of the Unicorn crushed crystal in here just for that super sparkly shimmer in it, because who doesn't want some shimmer? Unless you're my husband. And then you don't. And that's a sad thing. But anyway, I digress. So I'm just going to mix this up really well, like I said, just to kind of make sure that there's no unmixed resin there. Now, I want to do a rainbow effect. So I've picked out a bunch of alcohol inks, and I really enjoy doing this method for my rainbow effect. And what I'm going to do is I've got, and they're all Let's Resin. I don't know if I said that or not, but if not, they're Let's Resin. If so, I don't know. Anyway, I got purplish red, red, orange, yellow, emerald green, sapphire blue, and purple. And what I'm going to do is I kind of have them spaced out so they're about even here. And then I'm going to drip a couple drips on the mold in each color and pour the resin on after I'm done getting all the colors on. Now, this step, you want to kind of be on the faster side of things, simply because if you let those alcohol inks sit there too long, it can stain your mold. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm going to go kind of fast on this and then right down the middle so that the colors stay fairly separated. I am just going to slowly pour in this resin. Now, hindsight, I could have added probably another drop, maybe 2, to this to get that color to kind of sort of come back up to the top. But I wasn't necessarily thinking about how much resin it would pour in here and that it's going to be very, very light. Now, don't get me wrong, it's very super beautiful. Like, it's really, really beautiful. But I kind of wanted that color to start coming up near the sides and up over the top. It didn't. It's fine. It really is fine. So I went in slowly, half and half on each, let that kind of settle, do its thing. Here I can see that there's a little bit of that ink kind of like sitting on my mold. So I'm just taking a silicone tool and just kind of rubbing it off carefully so that I'm not mixing where the colors go. Now at this point, I decided that for the top, I'm just going to add the purplish red. It's probably one of my favorite colors in this whole ink set. Like, I love this color. It's such a beautiful color. And I kind of couldn't do the rainbow effect, though I wanted to, simply because if I would have done that, it would have ran down the bottom of that mold. And instead of getting separating colors like I have here, because they're spaced farther apart, it would have just muddied and looked gross. So, it is what it is, and it's fine. Only difference is I wish I would have put less, because now the top is a lot more concentrated, like color wise, than the bottom, but it's fine. It's fine. The only other thing that I can tell you about this mold that, again, hindsight, and I've never used this before, is that in all of the details that are on it, there are like little balls at the bottom that each one on the bottom of it had an air bubble. Now, maybe if I sprayed it with alcohol, that would have helped. or if I could get in there and actually kind of squeeze them out. Like if you were doing one color and you didn't need the colors to be separated, that it you probably could have avoided it. However, because I really couldn't like squish and move this resin around to make sure that it was covered, because then my colors would all kind of blend together, there are holes there. Now, you can get a dot of UV resin in each one and fix it. I mean, it's a super simple fix. Honestly, it is. I chose not to do it, but you could. And that would just eliminate that issue altogether. But look how pretty it turned out. But do you see how at the bottom the color is more concentrated? I really would have liked for it to come all the way up on both sides. Now, the only other thing that I did not necessarily think about, and again, when you're using a mold for the first time, this can be one of the issues, is that on each side of the mold, there's a spot on this jar that it has like a little section cut out so that the lid, when it fits onto itself, it doesn't move. So there's only one way it can go. So that being said, with the colors, I should have had the mold done the same so that the red would match up with the red, if you get what I'm saying, top and bottom. And I didn't think of that. It's slightly off when you actually like put it on to lock it into place. And I'll show you here in a second what I'm talking about. But you can see here I'm trying to get it to go in, and then when I do, the colors don't necessarily line up the way that they should. Again, it's something that you learn, but it's fine. It's not a huge deal. We'll work around it, and everything will be fine. All right, so now demolding the top piece. Now, as far as I can tell, there is no difference between the top and bottom on the actual jar itself. Like I said, as far as I can tell, I don't know that it makes a difference. There's nothing that stands out one way or another that that's the way it should be. So I don't necessarily think it matters what side you decide to glue this onto for the very top bit. And here, see, I'm kind of showing you how there's that flat part, and that's where it has to match together. So if you were to get this mold and do something like this where your colors need to match, make sure that where the actual flat piece is on your mold is matching up and lining up with the way that you do your colors. In this mold, they also give you these rhinestones that fit perfectly inside the little areas on the top and bottom of the mold. So we're just going to add these in with some diamond glaze, get those in there, and then I'm going to dress it up just a little bit more. At this point, I mean, there's really not much of a need for me to talk you through it. You can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm going to let you listen to music. But actually, before I go, I don't normally say anything about this. But if you find yourself that you've not subscribed to my channel, and you find yourself that you're coming back and you're watching a lot of my videos or whatever, if you would consider actually subscribing, that would mean the world to me. I know you may think that it doesn't make any difference, but it really truly does. And I'd like to, my goal is, I know I just hit 3,000 subscribers like about a week or so ago. I'd really, really, really like to hit 5 by the end of the year. So like by Christmas, I would love to have 5,000 subscribers. Like that would be amazing. And I can see on my analytics that like half of you that watch my videos are subscribed and the other half aren't. So if you wouldn't mind hitting that button, like it's free to you, it doesn't cost you anything at all, and it would help me out greatly. I would sincerely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so back to the video. I'm going to bounce off here for a minute. I will come back once we are done with these steps. I will catch you on the flip side.
Hands in resin flow, gentle colors bright. With every pore I show beauty in the light. Patterns swirl and dance, captured in the frame. In every piece a chance to never look the same. Resin dreams take flight in the calm of night. the daylight's glow, art begins to grow. Ocean waves in blue, mountains made of gold, stories through and through, resin tales unfold. Every pore feels new, creation feels so true. Minutes turning hours, resin blooms like flowers. Resin dreams take flight in the calm of night. Through the daylight's glow, art begins to grow. Ocean waves in blue, mountains made of gold, stories through and through, resin tales unfold.
Every core feels new, creation feels so true, minutes turning hours, resin blooms like flowers.
Every pore feels new, creation feels so true. Minutes turning hours, resin blooms like flowers. Every pore feels new, creation feels so true. Minutes turning hours, resin blooms like flowers. Hands in resin flow, gentle colors bright. With every pore I show beauty in the light. Patterns swirl and dance, captured in the frame. In every piece a chance to never look the same. Resin dreams take flight in the calm of night. Through the daylight's glow, art begins to grow. Ocean waves in blue, mountains made of gold, stories through and
So
through.
as you can see, I got my Decacolor gold paint pen and went around where I put those rhinestones and all of the just embellishments of this, as well as around the edge of like the middle of the jar, because I thought that that would really make it stand out and just look great. And then I decided that I didn't want the top to be just plain. So around this middle part, at first I thought I'd just do like where I'm doing right now and then right at the very bottom of the heart. But as I was going on, I decided that I was going to do that whole middle piece and then edge out the bottom of it as well. And after that, it's pretty much done. It's just a matter of gluing on this piece to the top of the actual like jar. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh my. It's just a matter of gluing it onto the jar. Now, hindsight, I didn't think about this and I should have. It would have been a little bit better had I taken just a little bit of sandpaper and just roughed up the bottom and the top of each of them before applying the glue, just so the glue has something more to adhere to. But I didn't. I honestly didn't think about it until I was editing this video. But that's a wrap on this one, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will catch you all on Tuesday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Hands in resin flow, gentle colors bright. With every pore I show beauty in the light. Patterns swirl and dance, captured in the frame. In every piece a chance to never look the same. Resin dreams take flight in the calm of night. Through the daylight's glow, art begins to